Thoughts and views of this podcast and the sole views of the curators of this podcast is not the views of the United States Postal Service.
How does he do it?
We are back on the Route Podcast, episode 19. And this time we are talking about utilities. That's right, y'all, route utilities. We do not work 7 days a week. We do have a day off, and we do have a day off. Another carrier carries a route for us that we call a utility.
If they drop us.
And the utility is the person that takes care of the route when the main carrier is not there. So, before we even get into this, as always, let my brothers introduce themselves.
B. Morton, I am a fellow utility. I'm about to give y'all some good insight about being utilities and some bad things too, but it's beneficial.
Yeah, this is Aaron. I'm a utility as well, so we're about to get into it.
This is Black. When I made regular, I started as a utility, but I have a regular route now that didn't work for me.
And we have a special guest with us today. Let him introduce himself. He's also a utility.
All right, this is Gray. I used to be a utility. I ain't a utility no more. I've been a utility for like a year now. I had a regular route. I was utility at 2 different stations.
And what station are you currently at right now?
I'm at Frankfurt Station right now. I was utility when I first got back there. And
Money station.
yeah, definitely. I was at Overbrook 2 years ago, and I've been a utility there for the 2 years I was there.
So what would you say was the experience you had with being a utility?
At Overbrook, being a utility, it was a little better than Frankfurt, I ain't gonna lie. Like the carriers, they had finished their route out before they drop weekend. You know how carriers get. They got drop weekend. You got some door-to-doors. They gonna lead them Jones.
So how many routes do you actually carry as a utility?
I had a range of like Overbrook. I had 5 routes I carried. I normally did them. Most of the regulars on the routes wasn't on the list, so I definitely did do a different route every day.
So part of being a utility is like you don't really get to do the same thing all the time, but it's usually the same 5 routes.
Yeah, it's normally the same 5. You always get the same 5. Sometimes on your drop day, if they bring you in, you can't. They say you can't do nothing on your route, so that puts you on something like you either didn't do before or something you familiar with.
Okay. So, I mean, what are some of the advantages of being a utility opposed to being like a regular carrier with a route?
You ain't got to sweat certain things or whatever, like especially with the customers. Like most customers understand like you ain't the regular. So when the route is like messed up or whatever, you ain't got to deal with the headache of that. And most of the time, if you might luck up, if a regular do get door-to-doors, they might end up like getting them on a Monday. You ain't got to do his route till Wednesday. So by the time you get a route on Wednesday, you don't got them. So,
is there like a pay difference or?
Yeah, I think it's like $1. They say it's $1, but when I added it up, it was like 82 cents or something like that, 88 cents or something like that.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's go around the room. Let's start with B. Morton. You know what I mean? Like you've been a utility for a while. You know what I mean? Like tell us about it.
Well,
This nigga got some stories.
So I was a utility when I first came and I first became regular. I was utility in North Philly, so I was utility there and like that was a test station. That was crazy. So when I became utility, I went to North Philly. I had 5 routes basically. So my routes, I had one route that did simple apartments. I had another one that did simple apartments. I had one in the thing off like Lehigh, but like yeah, being utility, it was rough in North Philly because at the time I had a person where she was like, all right, I don't get the route done. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't get the route done. I split the route up, and because route's long, they were adding on to it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So when it was my turn to do a route, she would come to me, you should get the route done. I'm like, well, the regular doesn't do it. Why do you expect that of me? I'm like, the route's 9.5 hours over basically. You shouldn't expect it from me because I'm younger or whatever it is. Like, give me the same beneficial of it, but you don't get, sometimes being that B, you don't get the same beneficial of being utility. They say, well, all right, utility, the regular. I'm like, well, hold everybody accountable to the same with this. This is not my route. I'm just here to maintain the route. That's what they say. The utility job is to maintain the route, basically, or maintain the regular's route. And that's it. Then I left North Philly. I came to Roxborough. I was utility at Roxborough. It wasn't bad. Like I said, black was one of my keys. It was cool. Like,
He was messing my route.
Yeah. They would say no. But it was beneficial. It was cool. Like, for me, it's easier because I feel like sometimes I really don't want responsibility until I find something. But also, you get your days where people want to complain about stuff, knock you off, or do certain things here and there. It's like, it kind of like, all right, well, you the utility. But I'm like, where do I get the benefit of, like, if you're bringing someone in or you're bringing people in, like, how is the utility supposed to do certain things? Because then, like Gray said, if I come in my drop day, I don't have the option of my key, or you can go anywhere you want to, but it's like sometimes they feel, well, all right, well, we're going to put you where it's beneficial. That's what it is, too. So, like I said, it has its good and take with it, too. Like, I like different routes, different things, but the thing I know all four of it count for, what's the main thing? Where the regular at? I ain't see you. I'm like, lady or man, I'm not your regular carrier. I'm filling in for so-and-so day. Well, so-and-so this. Look, I wasn't here yesterday, day before. I am the person that fills in. Oh, do you fill in? Yeah, we fill in, yeah. So, that's the thing about it. That's one of the most egregious, annoying questions you get. I ain't see so-and-so every day. Like, all right, like, come on. So, I let Aaron experience on his being the utility.
Yeah, I understand that part, man. Customers, be like, well, where's the utility? But like, for me, I've been a utility like a year and a half, probably like 2 years. I like being a utility because I like doing different stuff like during the week. So when it comes to customers and stuff, I also try to get to know the customers a little bit, like so they know that, all right, when your carrier out, then I'm here. I'm still going to take care of you, et cetera, et cetera. And I do the same. I like to do the same for the regular carriers. So if you got a lot of stuff, like I like to take care of all the stuff that come in, so you don't gotta come back and deal with all that stuff too. One thing I don't like about being a utility is dealing with people's trucks. So like the trucks be real dirty, and then like every morning I gotta clean a different truck because I don't like working in a dirty truck. So like that's one of the bad parts about it for me.
Well, I was utility when I first became regular at King Sesson for about 2 years. It was all right. I had pretty decent routes, but I did get a lot of the problems with door-to-doors and people, carriers not doing a route like they supposed to. And I had a lot of the customer situations that Brandon had, but I'm going to keep it funky with you. I wasn't trying to get to know the customers. I was utility. I'm only here for 1 day a week. I just want to get the job done. Here's your mail. To be honest, I don't want you to give me no mail. The name of the game is to unload, not take back. I was utility. That's just how I looked at it. I didn't want to do it, but I came to work. I did my job. If a customer said hi, I said hi, and I kept moving. I wasn't having no conversation. But, it was all right. The pay was okay. I think it is like 88 cents after, you add it up or something like that. But I had a couple bad regulars though on my key. Like at King Sesson is a bad station, so it's a lot of routes there that don't get done. So as a utility, when you come in the next day and 3 hours is laying on the floor next to your route, on top of the route that you got to do that day, yeah, it's bad.
That's
especially
money
for
time
money.
right
Yeah. And you're
That's
going to be out there at 10 o'clock. I'm saying you get paid, but your knees ain't feeling it.
Or you could do the regular and be like, oh, well, I know so and so cleaned up. That's the thing I hate. Like, well, I utility that's gonna clean it up.
No, that was me.
That's my drought weekend. I'm gonna do this for him, him and her. This about to be sweet. I come back Monday. And the thing is, because they know who you are as a carrier, and that's why I'm like, all right, now what if I was a jerk and like, I ain't doing that. I done did it a couple times. I'm like, look, you're not gonna keep saying and taking my kindness for weakness because of that too.
So I'm asking all you guys, like, have you guys ever been like walked like on somebody else's route as a utility?
Oh yeah, you get that, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
It don't
did.
count though. It don't count.
Yeah, no, I definitely had to go. I got walked a couple times on somebody's route. But yeah, since when they told me they didn't count, the lady that was walking me, I'm like, you better just catch up or you gonna fall behind. Like,
So it was like kind of like an unofficial kind of like walk.
yeah, but
That's not what they told me.
that's the thing with it is the person that walk you, they do tell you it's an official walk, but like, cause I had asked the shop store that time I got walk. I was in Overbrook. I got walk and I was asking people there. They said it wasn't an official walk, but the person that walked me said it was official. They said it was, but
So I mean, so how does that work? Like when you guys are getting walked on like somebody else's route and they're saying that the walk is official, how do they calculate the time?
No, it's
because your
official.
pace might be different from the regulars, right?
No, it's official in the regular, but they can't use it against you. Like, so the thing is, you're walking somebody else's route. So like I said, if I walked on his route, basically, it wouldn't. My time, it's official. It's in the books, but it wouldn't count because it's not my route. We don't have a signed route. So it's like the thing is, you can't use my time. Basically, like that's just like they try to use thing with CCA. Oh well, all right, well we using time official here. I'm like, well the time doesn't count unless it's the person actually on the route and what it is. And they say, oh it does count. I'm like, you guys keep kind of borderline and well, what does benefit you guys? But quote unquote, really, it's not supposed to accurate. It's supposed to count for the person that's assigned to that route, not the person that assigned the route on that day. That's the person. Like if your name says John Doe, route 216, whatever, that's John Doe. Basically, I'm just there filling for him that day because that happened to me before. I was a CCA, and the regular called out. I had to walk the route for him. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, well, it's not gonna count because you're a CCA. I'm like, the same thing with private utility because it doesn't count because that's just the route belongs to that person who actually bid it and awarded the route too.
Well, when I was at King Sesson, the same thing happened to me on 3 of my routes on my key when I was a utility. I asked my shop steward, I said, if it doesn't count, why are they walking me to begin with? He said, well, it counts, but it doesn't count. Like, what does that mean? Well, if they need to use those times, they'll use them. Like, what? Like, what if the regular that's actually on the route does the route in the allotted time? And I do the route and I'm out there an hour longer or I'm an hour faster. They'll use my time because it benefits them because I get back faster.
Exactly.
That's not cool. That's not cool.
Well, you know, like I always say, man, in America, we're gonna make it hard for you, man.
That's for sure.
That's just how it goes. I mean,
I haven't been walked like since I've been in the utility yet, so like,
I got walked. When was the time we had the test? We had our test.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I walked the route and it was like, all right,
49, right?
49. That's what he was asking me a dumb question. Like, well, why are you over here? And I'm like, this is the route. It's not even my route. It's my day to be here. I think it was my job. I'm like, I know the route because I done it the previous time. I'm like, they was because people was like, oh well, make sure you walk slow. I'm like, this don't benefit me. This benefit y'all because whatever approximate route in the range area is close to y'all. So it just is weird.
So, all right. So, Brandon, you a utility now, and Gray, Black, y'all been utilities before. So, what's the percentage of like good routes to bad routes on y'all key? Because I got like probably one bad route. Everything else is just cool.
You're lucky.
When I was on his key, I had 2 good routes, maybe, if that.
My route was good.
Yeah, your route cool,
It
yo.
was good. That's it. 2 routes. Like, that's it. Basically, I had 2 routes. The ones I'm on now, I only got 1 bad route. In North Philly, I had 1 good route. I had 1. I had 4 terrible. I had 4. I had 1 route that was small, and I had 4 routes that basically like I had 2 that I can get done by. If I'm pushing it 8:39, I had 1. I can get done on time. Maybe it need to be.
You got PTSD, yo.
yeah, no, Overbrook. I had a route that I can get done whenever I feel like it. The rest of the routes, yeah, I ain't getting done till 8, 9 o'clock at night. I didn't. Yeah, it's a route at Overbrook I was on in the winter when I was utility and came back snowing and everything outside. I had 9 trays of mail. Had like a gate and a half of packages. Like I ain't get done till like 9, and I still had like 3 hours overtime. She thought I was crazy. She was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Look, like it was a bad day." Like it depends. Though some routes is bad. No.
so how does it work when you guys have like say a route is open on your key like all the time because there's no actual regular, but say like a person has a hold down on it. Like when is your scheduled day to do it? Are you able to still do the route, or you got to just move to something else?
So what it actually is, so like, all right, so this is what they told me. Basically said, all right, if some of my key basically, well, all right, my key's open basically, and if you CCA has a hold down on it, we're not allowed to knock them off until it's your actual, I think it's your actual drop day.
Yeah,
your actual drop to knock them off basically, or if it's nothing else open in the station, then you can knock them off.
It's not true.
Yeah, that's why I figured that. But yeah, that's
if you coming on your drop.
Yeah.
And there's a CCA on your key.
Yeah.
You can bump them.
Okay, all right.
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but they'll tell you can't do nothing on your key on your drop day. Because I was told that a lot.
They'll tell you that.
Like, yeah, when you come in on your drop day, it's like you can't do nothing on your key or
because
whatever.
your key is technically open because the CCA is not a regular.
Yeah.
Exactly. It just got a hold down.
It's still open.
Yeah, they like the hold down is like a super shield.
And like, if you guys are liking this episode, by all means, please hit the like button, comment below. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I've been looking at the numbers. I told you guys we're at 38% now. People that are watching us that don't subscribe, hit that button. You know you love us.
Yeah, he's starting to listen.
But I like to be in the utility a little bit. Versus having a route, I'm the kind of person, I'm systematic. I don't have a problem doing the same thing over and over and over. Utility was refreshing, but after a while, it's like the 88 cents don't amount up to the 5 routes you're doing,
Yeah, that's why I stopped doing it. Because
Yeah,
I liked it. I did love being until, like Aaron said, I liked it because I like doing everything every day. And I like doing different stuff. And then the customers, like you see different type people, like whatever you definitely meeting different type of people, whatever. But then after a while, you start looking at it like you doing 12 hours a day, you doing 5 different routes. By Friday, you look at it like, man, this is really not enough. It's really it don't add up for real.
Yeah, you'll burn yourself out, and they'll use you like they did Brandon at Roxbury.
Wait, no, you talking about,
they had this during the pandemic.
you talking about when I became, you talking about when I first became unassigned regular, these two right here, my brother in front of me, he was like, oh, so I see you still here. I said, yeah. He said, they keep hopping you back and forth from Roxbury to Manny. I'm like, yeah, he talking about, you was getting used. I said, what you talking about? You ain't utility. I said, what you talking about? He said, you an unassigned regular, keep getting bounced back and forth from Roxbury to Manny or wherever they need you on call. I said, all right, yeah. He's like, you mind a bit out? All right, yeah, it makes sense. I basically was, like, I was a utility for 2 stations without even getting paid for it. I was just unassigned regular. Huh?
How does that work?
Well, unassigned regular?
They was using
me. They was just like, so beneficial. So
it was like, go here.
Yeah, like go here. Like if it's Mania open, I'll say Mania. If none open, I go up to Roxbury. I'm like, well, y'all keep having me go back and forth with these routes. I'm like, I ain't utility.
And for the people that are at home listening that don't understand what he's trying to say with that situation, when you have a district like our district where you have routes that we call, monstrosities, killers, routes that, that can break a carrier psychologically. When you're unassigned regular and you don't bid, they can literally just throw you wherever they want to throw you. And 9 times out of 10, they're not throwing you on something nice. So when you're trying to, wait for something to open up for you that can actually work for you, you're an unassigned regular and you're kind of at the mercy of like that manager or supervisor, whoever's in charge. So that's pretty much what his experience was. He was trying to find the right situation for us. So, and because he was kind of in a jam, they kind of used it to their advantage.
Oh, no.
No, tell them about the other time.
Well, so
when it was using you to clean up routes.
Oh,
yeah, I got used like that a lot.
I was same time. So it'd be like, oh yeah. Matter of fact, I was utility, so the route over my key basically, right? So the route was over my key. Person, she whatever she did, that's neither here or there. So one day she keep believing stuff. So I'm like, the day she do come in, y'all let her do whatever she want to do, and the stuff is laying there. I'm like, what's going on here? Y'all not saying nothing to her. So I'm like, why do he come in and clean up stuff? Well, I'm like, look, I'm leaving this stuff here now. I'm like, she ain't been here for some odd year or whatever it is, like, reason it be. I'm not going to keep cleaning all this stuff up, and it's not my route. Like, and then what I did, I mean.
We all got hit with that before, though.
No.
So what happened to you, Gray?
Oh, no, I had a situation like that. A bunch of, how the CCAs just don't be doing nothing. I was at I had a situation like that at Overbrook too. CCA just on a bad day, we had the door to doors. The was it Verizon? You know Verizon, they be having them thin. It's raining, so he ain't do like I guess he was like taking them out the DPS, just like sitting them on the side. So when I came back, I had like those on the case. I had like some magazines. It was like a bunch of stuff. Like, and then a Monday at Overbrook, you know, Mondays is you can end up getting 500 packages with that. Like, so it was like I ended up having to clean up that route. Then Tuesday I came in. Somebody else brought like 3 hours back. I had to clean up that route. Then Wednesday I came in. Somebody else brought like half of the route back. Like during the pandemic, it was like bad. So I was doing like at least 9 trays of mail every day. For like every day I came in, I was doing 9 trays or more.
For the people at home that are utilities, we would love to hear some of y'all stories in the comments. If you can type that much, if the story's that much going on, you know what I mean? Because I really want to know, like, as a utility, especially like around the country, because you know, different areas, different states, is different circumstances. So for you rural carriers out there that are utilities, we would love to hear some of y'all stories. Please comment.
Bro, I see why y'all don't want to be utilities no more. Yo.
I got hit hard.
Oh, it's terrible. Yo, like,
Hold on, wait. You don't have those problems?
I don't have those problems, bro.
Right, Frankfurt. Yeah.
You got it easy.
Hey, Frankfurt, I had a
Yo, I had one joint in North Philly where like the boy, like the lady, she left me all these packages. She said she, like, so it was Temple Raw I had, like, and she had all these packages, and she just like, I'm not scanning. And then I get a whole, like, I get 3 or 4 ABCs for that route. I'm like, when I'm supposed to do this? Oh, this was yesterday. Well, we literally had to get. It was me and the CCA. We had to split as far as the package up, basically. Like, I took 2 the ABCs in one truck, took the other 2 ABCs in them. So I'm like, y'all let her do whatever she want and just say, oh, I'm not taking them because I can't do it. And then I wasn't pro-master. I'm like, well, look, y'all had to split up. Like, this is her route. I'm like, I'm just utility. Like, I just came to a situation that's jacked up.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a quick story. At King Sesame, you know the story. I was utility. I was coming in on 14 route, and I was assigned to the route. It was on schedule, and when I came in, there was somebody casing my route. Mind you, when I went over to the supervisor, I said, because this has happened before, I said, why is he casing my route? He said, well, he comes in early, he doesn't have anything to do. I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I want to case my route. I want to, because it's 8 hours. Case, go on the street, do your mail, come back, you clock out. At the time, it was 4:30. So they kept letting this man case my route. So what I was going to do that day, I was going to bump a CCA on my key to do that route. And he was like, oh, you can't do that. I said, well, technically, in the handbook states that, and mind you, the dude that was casing the route is the actual regular for that route. He just wasn't doing the route. He was just casing it. But it was my day to do it. But if you're the regular and you come in and you case one piece of mail, no matter if they use your utility on your route that day or a CCA, it automatically bumps them off. Automatically.
Wow.
So, they wanted to fight me on that. Obviously, they took me into the office. They like to do PDIs. So I went in the office. It was funny because I went in the office with the 2 supervisors, the manager, and the shop steward. And I told them exactly what the handbook says that I can actually do this. They didn't believe me. My shop steward told them, that I was correct. They still didn't believe it. They literally called the president of the union, and the president of the union told them he is correct. And they was like, well, this is what we're going to do. We're still going against it. Like, I showed it to you in the handbook. Shop steward, president of the union, they still wasn't trying to do it. So, obviously I ended up leaving and going home that day. But, yeah, this is the kind of thing. That ain't the first time I went through something like this in the post office. But as a utility, stuff like this will happen. They will fight you tooth and nail even if they dead wrong. That's just the post office.
So Gray, like, when you're doing your keys, right? Does your key have a truck route on there, or is it just like all regular routes?
No, most of my doing all regular routes. I ain't really have like a certain truck route or none of that. All my routes is like regular routes. Like the one route I said it was easy, it might have had like like 17 blocks at that. One of my harder routes had, I think like 29 blocks, and every block basically, probably you talking about houses from counting from 1 to 80, and every joint like that. Some of them got apartment buildings, and you already know, all mysteriously when people get they drop weekends, they say they lost their keys on Thursday, so they couldn't do the building and leaving the mail. You know how that go. So nobody really like working. That's the main issues I came with for real. Like all the time when people drop weekends, I always got hit with a bunch of.
And are you like? Did you have to ever hit like the collection boxes on the route too? Like you were doing them?
Yeah. Most of the time you always got hit to do the same thing the regular do. Basically hit all the boxes and like
not because you agree, but like you ever deal with like I know I dealt with this like where the regular takes the key home or you can't find the key or the key's not in the key keeper and you be like, well, I'm the utility, where is the key for the route? Or you look at the certain keys they got, I'm like, well, where's the key at? Like I don't know where the key's at for certain A, B, and C, D block. Like the regular, like, oh, I got it, I'm sorry, I took the key home mistake. Like what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah, I dealt with that waiting on being in the station, case in the mail, waiting another hour before I go to the street, just basically to try to get another key, or like you said, the regular taking the key home, or some regulars take the key out the key keeper, like and put it on their key ring instead of leaving it in the key keeper, making it easy for the person that's coming. Like I didn't have that a lot. Like a lot of my routes I be having, especially in Frankfurt, they'll end up saying they lost the key, and then you'll have to end up just trying to wait till midday, go back and get a key, then go back out and do the apartment building later on the day. Even if it's the first block, you gotta wait and back and go back and do it.
Okay, all right. I will say this though.
Here it goes.
Now we can do that. Sauce. Okay.
One thing. All right. Trucks. Like that's the only thing that be pissing me off of being a utility is having to find truck keys. Like, what's up with this truck? What's up with that truck? Oh, this maintenance. Oh, I gotta find a truck, and I be in the station for like a half hour longer than I'm supposed to be trying to find the truck. Like that's the only thing, and then cleaning the trucks obviously because people will be dirty in their trucks.
So you always have the right keys?
No.
A dirty truck? No, I got definitely a dirty truck.
I find the truck key like most of the time, but it's been getting better. But yeah, that's one thing. Like, all right, I got one on me.
No, I had one guy on my utility. He used to piss in the bottle all the time. He used to leave them bottles in the truck. Like I'm talking about like reusable bottles. Like the thing with it is he used to have a jug of like the same jug was there every day. Like with pee in it. Like, no way. I'm like, bro, no way he's doing this. Like
to my fellow carriers out there, just go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. It's a bodily function. You're allowed to do it. They cannot fire you for going to use the restroom. Do not do this inside wherever you're doing this at. Don't use bottles. That's what a toilet is for. It is not that serious.
Yeah,
I told you I found one in my relay box. I was upset. I was like, what is this?
Wait, so utilities, y'all got hit all the boxes on every route?
When I was in North Philly, I did my collection. No, I had a collection. My one I now got to hit one collection box. When I was in North Philly, I think I didn't hit it. I think
do we hit boxes at our station? Like
I know on my key, I gotta hit one. I gotta hit one of my boxes. That's it. One on my key, I hit the box. I had 2 boxes.
I never had to hit boxes as a utility.
Yeah, I always had to hit them. They told you had to. Like, yeah, Overbrook, I almost got written up for not hitting it.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. Certain stations, it depends on like it varies on your station. Like, man, young dudes had to do it, but like up here at Roxborough, I had to do it.
I had to do it on a route at Overbrook. When I was on 65, I had to hit the box on 63rd Street. But at Roxborough, no, I never.
So do regulars give y'all tips for cleaning up the route?
Some of them, no, not really. Like I had that Overbrook, I had got.
I'm not a tipper.
Yeah, the dudes at Overbrook tip, but I ain't gonna lie, some of like the guys that got the year like 20-something years in, they be understanding they give you tips here and there. But no, not really though. You rarely gonna get tips for real.
So I've never been here.
I've been waiting for this one.
So I've never been a utility, but I've never actually had a good utility either.
Oh.
Yeah, I've said it. Yeah, I said it. The whole time I've been in the post office, I've never had a good utility. So no, I do not tip.
I got tips.
When I finally get a good utility, it'll be worth that person's while.
See, I wasn't in North Philly long enough, so I got out of Dodge. But when I came to North Roxborough, it was cool.
Yeah, but then I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a bean.
It's yet to be seen.
The regulars,
it's yet to be seen.
If I'm near like most of the December, and if as a regular, if you leave that tip, I'm skin that joint, bro. Cause I do your route half like you not about to.
Yeah,
like I ain't.
That's
And then especially when they be.
So for me, I was on that route for almost like about 7-8 months. I was like, man, they see me every day. They ask me the same questions. I'm like, man, cause I might discuss this with some fool. Like, look, man, what should I do? They're like, you a fool if you don't. I said, I ain't
I'm taking it. If you think about it, it's really 50-50.
Yeah, see,
It's a 50-50 thing.
Like B's situation was a little different because that carrier was like never there, so he literally was like the regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was still
like they thought he was the regular. That's how much he was there. So it was
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying like if you're, I ain't gonna lie, like if you're a regular come every day and you only do it one day of that week, no, don't take his money. That's so disrespectful. Like I feel like you shouldn't take it. But if you on the route that
No, but see, my thing what I also did was when I came back, I did break off the CCA. Like, all right, yeah, you was here before I was. You like cool. All right, like I mean, what was wrong with that? I mean, it was
I wouldn't have
great.
did it.
no, but we all know how the post office is. You got some people that they come
she
3 times a month.
No, like she looked out because when I got back to Roxborough, she looked out and she was like, cool. I'm like, all right, like you looked out. Like, and she like certain thing I didn't know about the route. She said, oh, this was there. I'm like, cool. I'm like, they looked for you. He was like, what happened to the girl? I'm like, oh no, I took over. I'm like, I'm the utility, blah blah. She was like, cool. I'm like, look, they hooked me up. You know what I mean? I'm hook you up. Cool. So she was cool.
look, I'll say this much: like the person I have right now as my utility seems to be doing pretty good, but he hasn't had too many opportunities to really do my route because I'm always there. You know what I mean? But like I said, we'll see as we go further through the year. You know what I mean? At the end of the year, if everything looks like it's supposed to look, I'm a blessing. You know what I mean?
He doing the utility evaluation.
Yeah, that's what you can call it.
My utility ain't getting no
Listen, I take care of my actual mailman that delivers my mail. You know what I mean? Like he drops everything off at the door. He got a smile on his face. You know what I mean? I be showing him love on my block. So my utility, I'm going to give even more love to because that's the person I work with.
I might have saw my mailman maybe one time this year I live in my place, like one time. Once.
I don't even see my mailman, so there's no way I don't even see him.
Yo, that's
I don't
crazy.
see him. So, I mean, I tipped Brandon when he was doing my route when I was on 39. But you know, even though he was messing it up all the time,
I see.
not delivering the mail, bringing back door to doors, taking mail out the case. But
Some customers on my route try to tip me like around Christmas time. I'm like, nah, save it for the regular. But like one dude tried it. He was like, one dude, what did he say? He was like, so he asked me, was you a regular? I was like, nah. He was like, oh, all right, well, I was about to give you a tip. I was like, all right, it's cool. Yeah, I'll take a tip. He was like, no, I'm gonna just save it for the regular. I'm
Yo,
like,
he
all right,
shot something in the foot, boy. Yeah, shot something in the foot.
No, Black.
all right, whatever.
Black, you should tip your mailman though that delivers your mail because where your route is at, that person is putting their life on the line.
In the trenches.
Okay, that person's in the trenches. It damn near looks like Baghdad around there. I'm just saying.
Yo. Oh, man.
That person is a soldier. You showed him some love. You know what I mean? Leave him a bottle of water or something, a vest or something.
I don't know my mailman. I
he
see
can
my
get his
mailman.
own water.
Yo, the funny thing, I saw my mailman one time, and I think I was talking. Yo, he looked like he was mad. Like, oh, you a mailman? Why you telling me? I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to help you out, have a conversation. You know, all right. I'm like, okay, all right, brother. Guess I don't believe you know tips, sir. How about that?
Look, I got a question for y'all. What's some of the craziest tips you've gotten? Not just money or how much money. I'm talking about gifts. Like what's the most craziest thing they have given you?
Yeah.
Of course, he wants me to go first.
Okay.
Well, you know, because I do my route as much as I do it, and I'm pretty much like efficient. You know what I mean? Like one lady told me, she was like, I know exactly when you're gonna give me my mail. You're here at the same time every day, like clockwork. Like, cause I set her Ring app off like the same time all the time. But I've gotten like liquor like from people, like, you know what I mean? I picked it up, you know, after I got off the clock. They set it outside for me. Bottles of wine, you know what I mean? All types of gift cards from like eBay, Walmart, Amazon. You know what I mean?
They give you good shit.
Yeah, like stuff that
The real deal.
like they'll actually ask me like, hey, what do you like? And I'm like, all right, cool. One time this one dude, I knew he was like a musician guy, so I was trying to test him. I was like, I wasn't gonna this new Yamaha keyboard that was like 1,500. You know what I mean? He looks at me like he's like, all right, no man. He's like, you the mailman. You're not in construction. Nigga. Works in my house. I was like, I just thought I'd try. But yeah, the people on my route, they look out for me, man. So I appreciate them, man. That's why I keep doing the job that I'm doing because they show it right back.
I got gift cards. I mean, people hook me like I had like more so. They look out for me. I was in Manny. I do like stores like so. When I off the clock, I would like go back to like a one store had like an iPhone prayer store. He hooked me up. He fixed my joint. He gave me a discount off that delivering mail. Like I always bring their packages. I got a discount fixing my phone. I got gift card like Wawa gift cards like stuff like that. But I ain't really get too much sweet deals like y'all got. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Then I'm like, let's figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Are we saying as utilities or regular?
Doesn't matter.
It's period.
I mean, I say from utilities. I mean, like, I got gift cards before, but I usually get, like, the regular usually tip me, like, around Christmas time, so, I mean, I don't really get much from the people because they know they regulars because they've been there for so long. So,
Same, man.
yeah.
As a utility, I just eat gift cards. The one lady used to always bake these oatmeal cookies. Them joints was good. I used to always take that. that was like one of the best joints I was getting. Other people give you like $10 Wawa gift cards. I got most of my bigger chips when I was CCA. That's the crazy part. Because I was on a route that I think guy had like the route I was on. He had like cancer, so he wasn't like he came here and there, and then I think it started getting bad, so he wasn't coming at all. And then one of his people in his apartment building, like it was somebody else that was on the route, but every time he seen me, he was just like hype all the time, like a military dude. He's smiling. He's always be like give me his outgoing mail. At Christmas time one year, his daughter had came down just like steps with a card. It was like $700 in that joint. Like that's the most I had got, whatever, and like that. And he just every time I seen him, he was like, "Yo, thanks," and just every time like give me like he gave me a case of Gatorade one time, like getting out of his car going shopping. Like I got more stuff when I was a CCA than a regular though.
As a utility again, I wasn't a very customer friendly guy, so I didn't get jack as a utility, which is fine. I wasn't worried about it, but I did get a lot more as a CCA until I came to Roxborough. When I came to Roxborough on 23, that was the first route. I think I got like $800 on the road. I got cookies. I got my lady. I told her I like cake. She gave me a cake.
I was a regular on that route. They ain't give me nothing.
I had this one lady. She used to make me like a tuna melt and like some tea every Wednesday because I used to talk to her. Just have a conversation with her.
Aaron might know on 23, older lady on 300 Ripka used to give me she had outgoing mail every day. But I didn't feel bad about it because she had $3, $1 bills attached to it. Every day she was like, here. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, some people definitely will look out just from a conversation because some people you never know what they're going through. Sometimes we the first person you see. Yeah. Like that one lady, I used to always walk up to her like, say, hey, how your day doing? And she got something new on. I'd be like, you look nice today, and that was it. And from then, she used to always just be, every time I came past her, she had something, gave me either some food or some money for the most part.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think people don't realize that, like, especially when you have, like, when you're a utility, you're on the same key, or you have your own route. Like, when you're in the same area for a long time, you really, like, develop a relationship with the people and the customers. I remember, like, an older guy we were at Overbrook Station. He had the same route, I think, for, like, 22 years. Mm-hmm. And he literally told me he remembered, like, the lady that he used to see doing the mail, giving him the outgoing mail, she was young, and he remembered when she was born. Like, she took over the house that her mom had, and he was like, I was delivering the mail when her mom had the house. And then when she was pregnant with her, and he said, it's just crazy to see her now pregnant with a kid. Wow. You know what I mean? So it was like, he literally knew her, like, her whole life. So it was like, he had, like, a real relationship with her, almost like he was an uncle, kind of. Because she saw him so much, like, you know what I mean? So it was like, things like that happen. Because, when we on these routes, whether you have a key as a utility, or if you have your own route, like, you can't never really lose it, like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you just don't come to work. But if you're always working, you're gonna always be there as long as you want to be. So you can really develop like really good, solid relationships with people in the community. And it's like, keep that in mind to people out there that's getting into this job that's new. You know what I mean? That's one of the upsides about doing this job, that you can develop. You never know who you're going to run into, who you might, have on your route. Like we have people that had senators on the routes, you know what I mean? And they were able to make relationships with that person on a different level. We have people that have police officers, firemen on the route, you know what I mean? Like you don't know who you're going to run into where you can learn different things from, and, vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's always, good, I think, to just, come to work and do the best job that you can do. You know what I mean? Because people are always watching. You never know who's looking at you. You know what I mean? And so before we wrap it up, great, you want to give any of these younger people out here that are getting into the job that maybe thinking about being a utility, you know what I mean, instead of just having a route, like what advice you could probably give them or how to go about it as far as like mentality wise?
Yeah, definitely being a utility wise, like the job, it got its days, but like the job makes some good money, and definitely being a utility, you can always rotate around. You ain't never gotta, like you always got like something to do at the post office. So you come in every day, you'll never not have a route or something like that. You will always make, especially fast money, especially first coming in. Because sometimes one day you might be at Frankfurt, then the next day you might be at Overbrook, then the next day you might be at like King Sesson. It sounds bad, but you really getting used to like the whole area. Because right now I've been in a job for 7 years, and really you could put me anywhere, and I feel like I can deliver the mail anywhere for real. Because I've been to like a bunch of stations and got 12 hours here, 12 hours there. Sometimes you get stopped like middle of the day and you get sent somewhere else. That's why, especially being a utility, it helps too though.
Yeah, so it's kind of like when you first started, it's kind of like almost being a utility, but not being a utility.
Basically. It helps, like, especially when you first start. Yeah. So by the time you do get to that being a regular as utility part of it, it's easier because you're in one building now. All you got to do is get used to your 5 routes. Like, once you get your 5 routes down to a science, it's really kind of easy. And it's easy money. It's a little extra. It ain't. They'd tell you it might be $1.25, but once you calculate it, you'll see. But it's easy.
Imagine somebody at the same station, right, with tenure, and they did like 3 different like utility like positions. You know what I mean? That's probably like 15 routes like at the station that he probably know like off the top of the head. That person's like a real like jack of all trades, utility type of person.
Duplication, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I say you might be on your 3rd one, right? Or your second? What are you, your second one?
That's my 3rd one. Yeah.
It's your 3rd one, yeah. So you almost pretty much know almost the whole station, just about. Like,
yeah, second, 3rd one, yeah. So,
that's good.
That means Roxborough, he can double case more than them other guys y'all got doing it.
We'll see.
So yeah, he that means he can double case like about 15 routes in there. Yeah. Let's just keep that in mind.
Fair.
You know what I mean? But before we jump up out of here, I'm gonna let my man Gray have his last word, and we're gonna go around like the brothers have the last word. You know what I mean? What you want to say to the people out there that's doing the job that we do, the clerks, the custodians, the people, the management, everybody that listens to On the Route podcast.
No, definitely. I appreciate y'all for having me on, though. Definitely be listening when I be on my way to work in the morning. But no, definitely, though, I say everybody stick with the job. You don't gotta have it as like a main career. You can just use this job as an outlet. It's easy money. You can make some money. I'm like, bro, I didn't went to some things and got myself out of us like bad situations or money situations within less than a year just on working at this job. Like it got its ups and downs, but that's just the world for real. But yeah, I definitely tell anybody to get at the job and definitely stick with it though.
That's right. Don't quit. Whatever you do out there, do not quit. Just fight through it. Go around with my brothers to the last words.
Like I said, being a utility is good until otherwise. Like I said, right now it's good benefit when in my situation, but I do get hassled. Don't you get a route? I will get one eventually. I will.
Yeah, it's Aaron. Yeah, man, I like being a utility. I'll probably be a utility till something easy open up. But yeah, it's my thing. I like being a utility and learning the different routes and neighborhoods, like in the station and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool.
This is Black, and I can actually say this: I will never be a utility again.
Never.
No, I ain't doing it again. I ain't gonna do it again either.
I'm gonna see how this is like. I finally get a route,
especially at Roxborough. I see the hassle that not even just Brandon, all the other utilities go through. Like, just imagine coming in the station as a utility and everybody's in.
Yeah, that's when you get put on the worst route.
Get whatever's left.
But the only route that's
Scrap.
open is the route that nobody wants. Nah,
Of course, I'm not do that too.
I'm gonna stick with my one route, which is actually one route. And like I said before, I love doing this podcast with these guys. We talk a lot of junk. We give a lot of information. We have good guests on to give you also good information. And I have fun with doing this with these guys, man. It's good.
And as always, like I'm never gonna be a utility. Never tried it. Not going to try it. I like my routine. You know what I mean? I like people knowing who I am before I get there and things being in order where I like them. You know what I mean? I like getting my waters when I get them at the required stops. I like having a bathroom that I only have the access to because I have a key. I don't have to share it with the public. And I actually get a lot of good exercise on my route. I'm doing about 10.5 miles a day. You know what I mean? It's helping me burn a lot of calories. So for me, being a regular just carrier with route is just better. But I do appreciate the utilities out there because I've seen other routes that had utilities, and they came back from wherever they were at, and their route was just like how they left it. It looks like a great time. You know what I mean? One of these days that'll happen for me. And before we sign out, it's your engineer Rick Sean telling you guys, as always, be safe out there. And if you're a carrier, be safe on the route.